Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 31 of What If Naruto Got His Memories Sealed Away. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was an OP Seal Master on this channel and enjoy. And he also posted a new episode of What If Naruto Became the God of Wind over on Anime King, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be planning talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what is we begin this new episode? Begin the intro. And remember to comment down below, guys. So the last time we left off, Naruto was told by Danzo everything about the entire Uchiha massacre, as Naruto was pissed off. If Danzo had sent them, the roots, to take care of it or even assist Itachi, things wouldn't have turned out this way, as no knowing that he wouldn't have gone up against Itachi, because it was a mission from the village directly, and he was a loyal ninja of the village. But if he was in the same position, he didn't know if he could do the same thing. After their talk, Danzo left as Naruto had a lot to reflect upon. But he still had his goal to become Hokage, because when you become Hokage, things like this will never happen. Back at Konoha, as Himako came to Tsunade, as Naruto was now heading to Kumo, as Jiraiya was going to go there because it's finally time to teach Naruto what he wanted to teach him. And also Himako was coming along as well, as she didn't give Jiraiya any room to protest, because if she went alone, she would probably get hurt since she doesn't know any fighting techniques, only knowing mostly Fuinjutsu, and Naruto would never let Jiraiya live that down, and you'd probably kill him for letting her get hurt. As Jiraiya saw how manipulating this girl was, but he sighed and allowed her to come along. Meanwhile, Itachi has fallen completely in line. Yes, he has fallen completely in line, as he had nothing to live for anymore. He wanted two persons out of this world exterminated before he died, and one of them is Danzo Shimura, and the other one is Naruto Uzumaki ruining everything, as Itachi is recovering, as his body is not 100% yet, but they're going after the Shikaku at the Sand Village, as Itachi had his Mangekyo Sharingan, the Eternal, so things are gonna play out a little bit differently now. Meanwhile, as Naruto and his group made their way to Kumo, as Naruto still had the Amaterasu Flame still in his arm, as he was going to use it in combat, somehow. As the group was already there, as he greeted all of them, as he was happy to see Himako as she jumped right in his arms, as Yujito was there as well, as she hugged him as well, making Maki feel a bit, well, angry, as a lot of these feelings were new to her. As Naruto went and talked to the Raikage and told him everything, and about Madara Uchiha. Naruto also sent a clone to Konoha in his fight, as he saw what Sasuke was shown by Itachi. So Naruto saw everything as he went to send a clone to look over the Uchiha tablet, as he understood why the fox had completely went silent. It seems like he pushed the fox into submission after telling him to give him the power to survive, as he went there and break the hold that he had on him. But Kurama was scared. Yes, he was scared, as Naruto was angry at that. He told him if you want to be scared, you can just stay in here, because it doesn't matter, because he will be going up against his Madara and whoever stands in his way. As back at Konoha, Tsunade was talking to the clone, as she wanted to know what the brat was doing here, because he was supposed to be at Kumo right now. As Naruto explained to her what he learned recently, and also about Madara Uchiha. Back in the room, as Himako asked Naruto why he was so frustrated, but Naruto simply told her that the fox is being a coward right now. Meanwhile, as Jugo, Karin, and Seigetsu, all of them had a vengeance towards Naruto for different reasons. Jugo wanted to kill Naruto because he took Kimimaro and Sasuke away from him now. Karin wanted to kill Naruto because he took Sasuke away from her. and Togetsu wanted him dead because his two flunkies took away his blade. But Madara had another mission for them, to send them after Kabuto, who gave Naruto the eye. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the page and check it out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? As Naruto made his way back to the Raikage's office with Himako, as he saw that Jiraiya, his team, and Yujiro were still there. So Ersen Naruto said, "Before we fought Pain, you said that there was something that you wanted to show me. Right now is the best of times," said Naruto. "You sure?" Jiraiya asked as smirk. "You might not be up for this, Naruto. Only someone as manly and awesome as me can learn some of these techniques, you know." "I'm sure I'll do just fine with it," Naruto said that smirk. "So how do we get started?" Jiraiya bit his finger before going through hand sign. "Summoning jutsu," he said, as it was a poof of smoke. "I'm sure you know one half of the two great sage toads," as Fukazaku was now on Jiraiya's shoulder. "Yeah, this one was with you when I woke up from the fight with Pain," Naruto said. "How are you, Gamajiji?" Naruto asked. As Jiraiya's sweat dropped, "Naruto, can you show the Toad Elder some respect? Your training is up to him in all honesty." "Stupid brat," Jiraiya mumbled. "It's alright, Jiraiya-chan." As he hopped off Jiraiya's shoulder and landed, as he started to look Naruto over. "You are extremely talented and quite powerful, even stronger than the last time I saw you. As you are now, if you were to fight Pain, you might even win." "Do you know the secret?" asked Fukazaku. "Yes, Himako told me," Naruto said, after she found out about it. "None of those bodies are the real one. So where would the real one be?" "We couldn't tell you, kid," said Jiraiya. "But I'm sure he can't be really far away from them, seeing that he has to keep control of them." "So we don't need to do this then," Jiraiya asked. "We just need to hone what you already know. The Kyuubi is a big enough boost to fight Pain." "We're not using the Kyuubi for this," Naruto said, surprising everyone. "I can't trust it," Naruto said. "I can't rely on it to have my back for this. We're not using it." As he left to the part where the Kyuubi was scared, but he still wasn't going to use it. Everyone knew that Naruto didn't have Killer Bee control when it comes over the Kyuubi. He didn't even have Yujito's control, but he could still overpower her when he used his Kyuubi's cloak, seeing that he could still use ninjutsu while she couldn't use any of that, while she was fighting in that mode. But from the way he was talking, it seemed that the truce that him and the Kyuubi had was upset for some reason. "Besides," Naruto said, "there's still the whole Uchiha Madara thing to deal with. I know I can't beat him. If you thought I should have learned this before we go up against Pain, then I still need it," Naruto said. Jiraiya was wondering what was going on because Naruto and Kyuubi had a good relationship. Well, not too solid, but they work with each other. "Alright then, we can get ready when you're ready." "We don't have any time to waste," Naruto said. "Let's go now." "Are you sure?" Naruto-chan asked. "Pa, for this training, we're going to be heading up to Mount Miyaboku. It will be a long process that will take time." "Well then, we better do it now," Naruto said, to get it out of the way. Yujito was a bit put off, wishing that Naruto would spend some more time in Kumo so she could catch up with him. He hadn't even been there for a day and he was already going somewhere else. Still, she understood why he couldn't. This wasn't a social call. He told them things that they needed. "Naruto, when you decide that it's time for you to gain full control of the Kyuubi, I want you to come back to Kumo. Me and Killer Bee can help you out." As she looked over the Raikage with a smile. "If it's alright with you, Raikage-sama." "It is alright with me," Ace said. As he was amused, she was trying to cover up her happiness in helping Naruto by using him as a buffer. "I will keep you and Killer Bee reserved until Uzumaki finished with what he's doing. You won't have to wait for too long, Raikage-sama. I'll wrap this up in no time," said Naruto. "What about us, Naruto-senpai?" asked Sai, knowing that him and Maki would not be able to go there, seeing that they were linked to the personal summons by contract. "I want you guys to go back to Konoha and take Himako with you so that she's safe. I will need you guys to be ready since I have no idea what's going to happen soon. Keep things safe while I'm away with you. And take care of her, okay guys?" "Yes, Naruto-senpai," both Sai and Maki said. "Well then, if you're really ready to go," said Pa, "I'll go back and tell Gamikichi to summon you." And with that, he poofed away. "Anything you want to say, kid?" said Jiraiya. "Now will be the time to say what you want to say." Naruto cleared his throat. "I'm gonna be gone for a while, guys. But when I come back, I'm gonna kick the shit out of Madara, dust the old ass, and send him back to the old days. So just believe in me, okay? I'll come back with all kinds of awesome moves," he said. Himako went forward as she pulled him into a tight hug. As a bit of jolt from Yujito and Maki. "I'll keep in touch with you, Naruto-sama, so if anything happens, I'll tell you. You don't need to worry about anything. Train hard," said Himako. "I will, Himako-chan," he said. As he looked over at Yujito, "I'll tell you what I have to say when you get back. You know, so you ensure that you come back," she said, as she gave him a wink. As she heard the Raikage chuckle slightly. As Naruto turned towards his team, "Just don't die, Naruto-senpai." "That wouldn't look very good for you," said Sai. As Maki looked at him, you can count on me, Naruto-senpai, she said. We will be ready when you come back. I always knew I could count on you, Maki-chan, Naruto said. You know that I... But suddenly he vanished. Man, that was fast, said Jiraiya. Wait a minute, why the hell am I still here? How the hell did they summon him before me? I got seniority in this poof. He was gone as well. That's Naruto-senpai for you, thought Maki. Time skip, Kabuto was currently surrounded. But it didn't matter, Sasuke was the knockout power of their team. Without him, yeah, they were pretty dangerous, but they were nothing that he can't handle. I think all of you should get out of my way before I shove all of you back in a test tube. Huh, you really think you can take the three of us, said Shigetsu. As Kabuto pushed up his glasses, the other side of his face, as it already changed, he was already undergoing the transformation of absorbing Orochimaru. Well, that happened some time ago. But at this current level, they were no match for him. Well, if the three of you didn't suck so bad, without Sasuke, you'd actually prove to be a threat. Tell me, what do you think you're gonna do to me? You're the reason. You're the reason that Kimimaro went off to die. And the reason why Kimimaro will. Sasuke Uchiha is gone as well. Jugo said his curse mark started to spread all over his body. You're not leaving this room alive, he said. Oh, I'm not leaving this room alive? Please, spare me, said Kabuto. As he raised his hands, not, he said. Hidden Shadow Sneak, he said. As all of them had to jump away as he dashed towards the exit. So sorry, maybe next time. You can't run forever, Kabuto, Karen shouted. No matter where you go, I'll find you. Right as they turned another corner, Karen picked up something. Jugo, got it. Get out of the way, Jugo, says a massive snake, and its mouth opened wide, ready to swallow all of them. As Jugo pulled back his hand as jet ski in front of him as he smashed it right into the head of the snake, breaking it through the wall. As the snake poofed away, as the group kept on running, as they made their way to outside, as they came upon Kabuto outside, as Jugo was the first one to leap forward in his mad, psychotic rage, but Kabuto was dodging his strike. Damn it, says Shigetsu. There was no water around, none at all, and he didn't have any blade to fight with. Right now, he was completely coming up short. As Kabuto got a distance away, come on, he said. I have enough time to humiliate all of you, he said. Karen gritted her teeth, he's just toying with us. Shigetsu then grabbed her by the arm. Let go of me, Shigetsu, she said. But then she saw the look on Shigetsu's face. This is not the real Kabuto. Sorry, Kabuto's been long gone. As Kabuto's body changed into one of the dead stone ninjas before it dropped to the ground. As Jugo returned back to normal. As the rest of the group sighed. Kabuto was long out of their grasp. As Karen couldn't feel him anymore. Suddenly the ground started to shift. Hey, we caught the kids before Kabuto killed them, said White Tetsu. He probably left because he doesn't feel like getting his hands dirty here. Anyway, he said, there is work left for all of you to be done. You are allowed to roam on your own to handle your own affair, but I can see that you failed. You have orders ahead to carry and wait for your orders there. I'll be watching, Zetsu said. Shigetsu chuckled. Now doesn't that just fall into line? I wonder if I can make a detour, he said. Meanwhile, at Mount Miyaboku, as Naruto was currently face down in a trench, as he picked himself up to see Jiraiya smirking at him. What the hell, Naruto said, as Jiraiya was completely different. Huh, that's one of the things that you're going to be learning here. Sage Mode. I hope that little sparring loosen you up, said Jiraiya. Because this training is going to be harsh. As Naruto was surprised, this caught him completely off guard, seeing that he never saw Jiraiya undertook Sage Mode when facing off against pain. But that was incredible. As Naruto got back to his feet, Jiraiya also had wounds and scratches over him as well. As Naruto was no pushover, and he was no match for Naruto in his normal mode. Meanwhile, as Sai noticed something, seeing that he used to, well, went on a mission. When they first find Himako, Himako, is there something wrong, Sai asked. Well, it's just that things are getting rather scary, she said. The things that we know are very chilling, and Naruto-sama has to face them all by himself, and there's nothing I can do in the end. Naruto-senpai is not alone, said Maki. He has Sai-senpai, Danzo-sama, Jiraiya-sama, and the Hokage as well. He has so many people that are willing to help him, and you're one of them as well. And you can do things that no other can. Himako stepped forward as she hugged Maki, surprising her, seeing that, well, people didn't really hug her, ever. Thank you, Maki-san, she said. I'm so happy that people like you are at Naruto-sama's side, she said. How did you know him anyway? He never told me about meeting you. Oh, Naruto-senpai trained with me when we were younger, and he was my partner in earlier missions before he disappeared. He always looked out for me and made sure I was safe in the field. I always wanted to work for him again. Yes, Maki-san, Miss, Naruto-senpai, after his departure en route, she barely left his bedside after he woke up from his battle with pain, as Sai ignored Maki's glare. I just wanted to repay him for all that he's done for me. Well, not that he registers them as favors, after all. Like protecting me was his duty. I never even got to stand on my 2 feet and prove to him that I was able to, well, do it myself. That is hero worship, Sai said. As Maki's hand started to creep towards her Tonto. Alright, that is enough, Sai, said Himako. If it's not hero worship as she said, it's not. As Maki smiled at Himako. But I understand what it is though. You have a crush on my master. As Maki's eyes went wide. Oh, Sai said. So that is why she would refer to things that she and Senpai used to do before he was sealed. Relationships are extremely complicated. But what about your relationship with him? Himako-san asked Sai. Well, I may love Naruto-sama, but I'm his servant first. No matter how much he tried to get me to renounce that, well, statement. I am meant to look out for his well-being and act in his best interest. If other girls care for him, then they will have to show him and get him to accept them. Yujito-san does. And there are others as well, including Maki here. Hold on, I didn't say I, but Sai spoke, cutting her off again. Women are usually very indirect with how they feel, he said, as he wrote in a small notepad. Case in point, Naruto's relationship with several of them, including my teammate. If there's ever a woman I feel something for, I must be the one to say something, because she will not. Good information to have, he says. He shut his notebook, as Maki just held down her head. It seems like she, well, couldn't say anything. Time skip. Inside of a cool cave that protected him from the harsh, sandy environment, as Itachi was slowly removing his bandages from his eyes. Kisame, it's time, he said. One of our targets is near at last. But the Ichibai Jinjuki is still miles deeper in the desert. We just stop here so you could let your eyes heal from the surgery. There is no way that we will catch him outside of his village. As Itachi took off the bandages and put them away, his eyes still closed. I know that. I said our target, not Madara's target. Okay, I got you, said Kisame. Whatever you say, Itachi. I'm right behind you. Meanwhile, having just made their way from the diplomatic mission, Danzo, Fu, and Torun, as they made their way through the border. Fu, Torun, said Danzo suddenly. Danzo-sama, Boatman said. I hope that you two are prepared for conflict. Not here, later. As Fu narrowed his eyes. Do you expect some sort of treachery from the Hidden Sand? Do you believe some of your ninjas are hiding and waiting to attack us? No, Naruto-kun has done a fine job in establishing a relationship between our two villages. The Kazekage will not allow something like that to happen. That's not the type of trouble I'm anticipating. Who do you expect to attack us, Danzo-sama? Torun asked. I do not know, said Danzo, but I do know there's a threat nearby. As he had a feeling, and these kind of feelings were never wrong. Time skip, as Naruto was having a dilemma, as he couldn't stay one place when fighting, and they just told him that he had to stay one place to use Sage Mode. So how would he use it? Now, Naruto-chan, calm down. We wouldn't have brought you here to learn this if we didn't have a solution. Now, to make sure that you can actually do it and it wasn't a fluke, I want you to gather Nature Chakra again, as Naruto sat down and started to meditate, until he finally felt that same feeling when he lifted the statue. So how's that, Naruto asked? Is that good enough for you guys? As Jiraiya and the Toads looked at Naruto rather confused. What, Naruto asked? Naruto, said Jiraiya, why is there only one of your eyes showing the effects of Sage Mode? What, Naruto asked, as he couldn't see that one of his eyes had a bar-like pupil, but the other one was the same blue because of the contact lens that Himako gave him. Is it supposed to show in both eyes, Naruto asked. What's going on, said Paul. You have the basic process down. You have the Senjutsu chakra flowing through you. What's the matter? Jiraiya gave Naruto a stern glance. There was too many strange things going on with Naruto lately. He was keeping something from them. Naruto, what's wrong with your eye? Both of your eyes should have the mark. Naruto sighed. What possible lie could he concoct for this one? And lying to the man that was teaching you secret techniques, and the elder of these secret techniques was a big no-no, right? Fine, if he had to know then he would. Okay, Naruto said. You see, I lost my right eye when I was looking for the blade for Kiri. This isn't my real eye, he said, as he deactivated the lens. This is now, he said. What the hell? Said Jiraiya, as Fukasaku gasped. What the hell is that, Naruto? Jiraiya asked. What do you mean, said Naruto? It's a Sharingan. I got a Sharingan eye implanted in my eye socket. Jiraiya stepped closer. What the hell am I looking at? And that's not the Sharingan. What are you talking about, said Naruto? What does it look like? I know what it looked like when I had Maki put it in. I know what it looked like when I fought Itachi and Sasuke. What's wrong? I can't see it. Jerry pulled out a kuna and started scribbling on the ground what Naruto's eye looked like. Just so you know, half of it is red and the other half is yellow. What the hell? Said Naruto. Naruto's central pupil was a horizontal bar surrounded by 3 tomo. Half his eye was red while the other half was yellow in a yin-yang pattern, as it was currently spinning, both yin-yang, red and yellow. Holy crap, how did this happen? Naruto said, as the sage chakra then faded. Wait, it's back to normal now, said Naruto. Can you tell the difference? Paul asked, seeing that no one in the dojutsu has been able to use sage mode before, between your regular Sharingan and that one. I think so, Naruto said. So what now? Well, now you're gonna tell me and Fukazaku-sama, how did you end up with a fully mature Sharingan in your right eye, and don't leave any parts out, said Jiraiya. Fine, said Naruto. Meanwhile, as Danzo and his group stopped, Danzo-sama, there's a massive chakra signature coming right towards us, said Fu. How massive a signature? Asked Danzo. More chakra than I've ever felt from anyone in my life before, except for Naruto Uzumaki. As Toru went into a battle position, like I said, it's heading straight for us. What do? We make sure that we're ready. Which direction is the individual coming from? Danzo asked. As the group turned, they could see something like a fin sticking out of the ground over the horizon. The enemy, said Danzo. I hope that you two are good enough to stand up against the Akatsuki. Suddenly, Kisame burst from under the ground as he split up the group. He spent all his efforts going after Fu and Toru instead of touching Danzo. Sorry, but the big guy over there belongs to someone else. So you guys will have to take me on, said Kisame, as Danzo narrowed his eye as he watched Lee struggle, getting pushed further and further away. Hello, Danzo, said a voice, as Danzo didn't even bother to turn around. Hello, Itachi. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? Yes, it has. As Danzo started to undo the bandages on his right arm as he spoke. So, it has come to this. I thought that you were working towards Konoha benefit, even now as a member of the Akatsuki. I am, said Itachi. I went out of my way to wait under the guise of healing my eyes instead of just heading towards the sand to attempt to take the Kazekage. But now, there are things that I want. Things have changed. You're a trained operative. Take away my salvation. You remember our agreement, didn't you? Yes, of course Danzo did. That is why he didn't try anything against Sasuke. Because Sasuke would have ended up being your partner. En route. To keep away from your brother unless you reveal our secrets to the other nations. Yes. And Uzumaki and Naruto interfere in our final battle. A boy that you train, who had the carve of your root operatives. Tell me, how was that keeping away from Sasuke, Danzo? You fool. Naruto had no idea of what had transpired. He knew nothing other than you were a member of Akatsuki group, hell-bent on ending his life. When he saw Sasuke, the only thing he saw was a missing ninja of Konoha, not someone that you and I agree upon not to touch. He saw the both of you as missing ninjas and threat to our village. And like the Konoha shinobi he is, he did what he did to end that threat, though I thought he had finished you. Not me, said Itachi, as he finally opened his eyes. My brother. Naruto killed Sasuke in our battle, as his Sharingan had just 3 overlapping pinwheels of the 3-sided shurikens now. And now I carry his eyes as my strength. I am not turning my back on Konoha. I have lost too much, so now. But I can hold a grudge against Naruto Uzumaki, and I will end his life the way he did to my brothers. Killing him would end everything. It will save Konoha from the destruction of the Akatsuki, and it will make me feel a relief of getting Sasuke vengeance. I will kill Naruto and grow into strength to defeat Madara myself. It seems that you have been twisted by Madara, even though you can't see it, Itachi. And you cannot defeat Naruto either. He will grow far more powerful than either one of us, even that leader of yours, Pain. But do you really truly plan to kill Naruto? Itachi said nothing. Danzo would not let that happen. Naruto was the future, and Danzo would put Itachi down right here and right now. As Danzo bracers fell to the sand, now his arm fully shown, as Itachi disappeared in a flock of crows, as Danzo disappeared in Shanshin. Instead of clashing out first, Itachi looked at Danzo's right arm, what it looked like, as Itachi saw the 10 implanted, fully mature Sharingan eyes. You don't want to do this, Itachi, said Danzo, as rage could be seen on Itachi's face. I could have accepted only one. I could have accepted you using one Sharingan, the way Naruto did, seeing that he lost his eye before our battle, and I never held any ill will towards Kakashi for his own. The Sharingan is a powerful tool, but how do you think this looks, Danzo? This doesn't look like the death of my clan was for anyone good or well-being but yourself. Believe whatever you wish, Itachi. This was done to keep our home safe. Home? I no longer have a home, Danzo. Do you regret anything? Asked Danzo. Itachi shook his head slightly. Every day but regrets, or simply waste of times. As Itachi disappeared in a flock of crow, as his voice echoed all around Danzo, there are no reason to have any regrets. What is done is done. I see, said Danzo. As he prepares attack, wind release, vacuum blade, as he spin with a blade, as he sliced right into Itachi, but the body detonated right beside him, as Danzo blew wind from his mouth, blowing himself away before he got hit, as Itachi appeared right beside Danzo, but Danzo blew more wind chakra out, kicking up a large debris of dust to block Itachi's vision, as Danzo believed that Itachi was still in sand because his Sharingan didn't caught any movements, fire style, fireball jutsu, as the wind that Danzo used a minute ago turned Itachi fireball into a hellstorm, as Danzo watched as everything was blown away. So you truly are taking this battle seriously. I can't afford to waste my energy on you, Danzo. I came here to end you, and that's that. As Itachi was currently surrounded by Susanoo, I am fully recovered from my injuries that I suffered in my last battle, and my illness has cleared up for the moment. After hearing about Naruto's battle, Danzo knew exactly what to do, how to break him out of that. And he just needed a single opening. Yes, he just needed an opening. He will not allow Itachi to get anywhere near Naruto, the future of Konoha. Meanwhile, Kisame was having fun. Fu cried out in pain as Samehada's scales tear right through the material on his chest, as blood was gushing down. As Toru jumped forward, but Kisame blocked his strike with Samehada before swing kicking him straight away as he hit the ground hard and rolled. This was hopeless at this rate. The two of them wouldn't even be able to land a hand on him. Come on, let's have some more fun. Meanwhile, with Danzo and Itachi, Itachi grabbed the blade of Susanoo and swung it towards Danzo as Danzo leaped high up in the air. What a great control of wind you have. But it shows that Naruto's master over wind is stronger than yours, and he could not defeat me. He did defeat you, said Danzo as Itachi struck him with his blade coming down. But Danzo blew wind out of his mouth, pushing him away. He simply did not finish you. As Itachi started swinging his blade at Danzo once again, as Danzo hit on using the wind to blow himself back and dodge his way out of Itachi's strikes. As Itachi narrowed his eyes at Danzo, Amaterasu, he said, as the black flames rushed forward and consumed Danzo's body whole, as he started to burn. But suddenly, the black flames fell to the ground, because Danzo's body was no longer there. Wind release, vacuum spear. As Danzo behind Itachi fires several small bullets of air. You're fighting a proxy battle, Itachi. Your heart isn't in this, you're just fighting for the sake of fighting. That is not the way to win. My heart is the entire reason why I'm here. My goals, everything was with Sasuke. It was him that I was going for, everything. As Itachi then turned, as he lighted up Danzo another Amaterasu flame. But he just disappeared once again, as Itachi narrowed his eyes. If that was true, then this battle is lost for you, said Danzo, voice coming from all around. Your reason isn't much of a reason at all. Do you even know what you're doing here? I am tying up the loose ends of my village and yours. As he went towards Danzo, with Danzo up here once again, your root needs to be pulled from the village foundations. You are a unnecessary virus, sucking life from Konoha and the rest of the Konoha nation. Do you think I never heard anyone insult my root before, said Danzo, as Itachi drew close. Danzo doubted that in his prime that he could have moved faster than Itachi. No, he was nowhere near Itachi's speed. Damn it, said Danzo as Itachi finished his hand signs before him. Wind release, vacuum spear, Itachi said, copying Danzo's technique, as he sliced Danzo up into pieces with his wind blade. But once again Danzo's body vanished. Foolish, Danzo's voice echoed out. This is why most of my wind technique were never used by my Uchiha teammate for all those years, because despite having your Sharingan, it is incredibly difficult to use wind if you're not at full mastery over the element. Itachi had some severe cuts over him, but not anything too bad. After using that wind technique, Itachi now knew what Danzo was using to keep himself out of harm's way. He was surprised that Danzo was using such a forbidden technique. But it was Danzo after all. Any means of necessary to survive, right? Susanoo, he said, as Itachi Susanoo flared to life. I always knew that you feared death, Danzo, but to go this far to try and escape it, your use of the Izanagi is ingenious. Summoning technique, as a giant elephant appear with other mismatched body of animals all over it. You're Baku summon. You really are pulling out everything against me, are you? Itachi asks. The creature then started to inhale, drawing sand and everything towards it. Itachi just hunkered down in Susanoo. You cannot break through my 8-span mirror, he said. It negates all elemental attack on it. Wind release, vacuum serial waves. Itachi was unable to turn his back fast enough to the new threat behind him, as a torrent of wind blades came at Itachi from all angles. And once the suction of the Baku's suction got to the wind blades, they grew even stronger and faster. That was the one weakness, as Danzo watches the wind blades slice into Susanoo and slice into Itachi himself. If Naruto had attacked the Susanoo from behind, he would have tear right through it with his Rasen Shuriken. Itachi Susanoo was extremely slow and sluggish. It seemed like Itachi was dragging him around, so once you have the opportunity to get behind him, you are to pierce from behind, as Danzo had to give a thanks to Naruto for laying the groundwork to his plan. Yes, thanks to Naruto telling him about the battle, he was able to counter it now. Meanwhile, as Toru's body was floating, as he was dead, as Fu had got one last fighting chance from Toru, his partner. What is this? Said Kisame, as his skin started to break out in purple spots all over. Fu was in bad shape, but he had to stay alive a bit longer to see if his partner last plan worked, as he allowed his insects to scatter all over the water that Kisame created when he died. They can't survive long in the open air, but in a place like this they can live for a little while outside their host body, as Kisame's body was almost completely purple and sickly looking at this point. He had been around the water, he had swallowed it. It was all around him. But the same thing was happening to Fu, as he was in the water as well. But if it means taking down this monster in front of them and protecting Danzo-sama, he would gladly risk his life. Good work, said Fu as he collapsed dead. Kisame screamed as his entire body became purple, as his demise was far more painful than Fu. There was nothing he could do after swimming and taking so much water into his body, as a massive orb of water dropped and filled the lake that Kisame created even further, as Hame had to separate away from him. As Kisame fell down, all three bodies, Kisame, Fu, and Toru, floated on top of the water, as Hame had little noises like he was crying as he was floating there as well, as the sun had long finished setting. Meanwhile, Itachi and Danzo, as Danzo had saw the massive orb of water disperse. That was clearly where his underlings were fighting their own battle, and it looked like a rather destructive one. As the thought of him fighting another Akatsuki member, he looked down. I got 6 Sharingan left. All of a sudden his Baku then screamed out in a pain of anguish before dispelling. He must have used Genjutsu to move so fast after I injured him so badly. As Danzo went to head over there, the Izanagi, the Sharingan most forbidden jutsu, Danzo heard Itachi's voice. The power to remove the barrier between illusion and reality, although it come with the price of sight. The Sharingan either performed the technique. A small price to pay as Danzo looked up to see Itachi. Is Akatsuki cloak no longer on, as the wounds were on his body? A very small price to pay for cheating death, isn't it, Danzo? After all, why face your fear when you can just avoid it altogether? You are correct, Itachi, said Danzo. I did fear death. I feared death for the longest time. I feared without me, Konoha would be lost. That my death would end with the death of our village. As Itachi had a satisfied look on his face hearing Danzo say such things. But I realized that was foolish. Itachi blinked in surprise. What are you talking about? The village existed ever before I even gained the power to organize route. Danzo said as he drew a kunai and breathed wind chakra on it. It take both sides, both light and darkness, to keep Konoha safe. Hiruzen secured the light half, passing down the wheel of fire we were both taught to the youth. And I have secured Konoha protection with the darkness. The village will survive after all. When I die, my fate is with the village of the future, because its next Hokage will be none other than Naruto Uzumaki. Do you truly believe this? Itachi asks, as his Susanoo started to form around him again, as his body twitched due to his long uses of his chakra and the Susanoo and his other techniques in this battle. You really believe that Naruto can become Hokage and keep Konoha safe? I would bet my life on it, said Danzo. As a matter of fact, I already have, said Danzo. Wind release, vacuum great spear, he said, as he launched a massive ball of wind towards Itachi. Itachi easily blocked it with Susanoo. Something you failed to do. Instead of letting your brother move on in his future, you made him dwell and reflect on the past too much, Itachi. As Danzo watched Itachi charge forward, Danzo then lifted his hand up as a massive tree grew out of it. But the sword was spiritual as it sliced right into Danzo same way. As Danzo reappeared, the Susanoo eyes glow yellow before the area where Danzo appeared exploded. You know nothing of what I did, Itachi shouted in anger. You manipulate your brother worse than I ever manipulated anyone, said Danzo as he appeared distance away as Itachi started to breathe heavily inside his Susanoo. The powerful series of jutsus were taking a toll on him. You really are a student of Madara, twisting your brother like that. Not even Shisui, the jutsu, has the complete way to warp someone like how you warp Sasuke. That's enough of that! As Itachi leaped forward, he has never been so angry in his life before. The only time that ever came close is when that he believed that Naruto had killed Sasuke in their three-way battle. The sword swept across the sand and started to swing, slicing Danzo, as Itachi kept it up, slicing all around him, despite the Susanoo was aggravating his sickness. He needed to end this now. With that in mind, he sliced Danzo 2 more times. As Danzo appeared mid-air, as Itachi Susanoo looked up, its eyes glowing yellow before the area where Danzo was exploded. As Danzo appeared again. As Danzo gritted his teeth, Susanoo was very imposing. Even when he was able to cut into Itachi, he just couldn't cut him deep enough to kill him. As he was using so many Sharingan eyes, he was feeling the effects, but he would not use Shisui eyes for the Izanagi. It was too valuable to waste like that. Itachi started to cough. I need to conserve chakra, he said. When in here, the cause of his, all of his chakra would do him no good. But Danzo was forced him to do that. Thinking about what he would have to do after the battle was over, he deactivated Susanoo. If he had used it for too much longer, he wouldn't have been able to walk away. Danzo was not Sasuke. He will not die today with him. It's time that we bring this to an end. As Danzo looked at his arm, he no longer has any. It's not the ice spear. So has it really come down to this? He asked Itachi. After all you sacrificed, are you willing to ignore all that you've worked for, Itachi? Danzo asked. Itachi did not say anything. One of them will die right here. There was no more time to talk. As Danzo had his blade with the wind chakra on it, if this is what it truly come down to, either the end of you or me, then I want to say one thing to you, Itachi. Thank you. You have sacrificed more than your life. You have sacrificed more than any shinobi would have ever had. Your will of fire never burned out. That was something that was never said. For all that he have done, for all of the Uchiha that he has ended, he deserved to be thanked for saving Konoha in that way, by ending the entire Uchiha race. But this battle was still coming to an end, as Itachi burst into a flock of crows. As Danzo Sharingan saw, a tear fall from Itachi's face, and that sight made him realize just how tired he truly was. And perhaps, yes, after 60 years of tireless working, perhaps it was time to rest. Let the new blood handle what was now their world. This is for Sasuke, said Itachi behind Danzo. As Danzo heard loud chirping, Chidori! There was no time to turn. This one was coming right for his heart. Not even on his best day was he faster than Itachi. As Danzo grabbed his kunai and stabbed it right through his stomach, as Itachi Chidori teared through his chest. As Itachi grunted in pain, as Danzo wind kunai had teared through him as well, piercing through Danzo and cutting Itachi as well deeply. As Danzo could feel the cells of the Mokitan slipping, as it would be that he die right now or lose control of the Mokitan cells and turn into a tree. That would be good, to be an everlasting tree in the desert. But he still had a job to do as he grabbed Itachi's arm that was in his chest and twisted the blade deeper in his stomach. Itachi's arm was stuck, he couldn't yank it free. This is the end, Itachi, Danzo said as he struggled. As he let go of the blade in his stomach and reached up on the seal on his chest to destroy the Sharingan eye for safety. There is nowhere for you to go. You may have the eternal Sharingan, but you don't have Madara's ability. You can't avoid this. Reverse Force Sealing Jutsu. Die! A large black spear was formed around it from the seal on Danzo's chest as he started to suck everything, as it took Itachi's body with it as well. As Itachi shut his eyes and accepted his fate, Mother, Father, Sasuke, I'll see you all soon, he said, as everything absorbed into Danzo's body. He dropped to the ground, blood pooling around him, as his body just sat there for the longest time, until Zetsu emerged from the ground. Well, would you look at that? Itachi got beat. Even with the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, his heart was just not in the battle. His will to fight has been gone since the Kyuubi Jinchuriki encountered him. Well, we couldn't touch that nasty, infected water. To get Kisame, Madara, we'll just have to do with Samihata. It doesn't matter, leader. Wanted us to bring him, Danzo's body as well. I wonder why though, said Black Zetsu. Time skip. At Mount Miyaboku. As Naruto thought that he was going to get a good night's sleep, but he found himself in the mindscape as he stomped towards the bars, as he hadn't set the sword back to normal yet. What the hell do you want, he asked. We need to talk, the Kyuubi said. Really? Naruto said, with a skeptical look on his face. I thought we said all we need to each other the last time we spoke. I already told you if you're going to keep shaking in your sandals every time you see someone that are weird, eye pattern, you're just going to hold me down. I am fighting for both of our lives here, said Naruto. I have something that you need to know that may change that matter of yours. Your old Toad teacher's plan of fusing with you to activate your Sage Mode will not work. You already fused with me. Any other attempt, by any other means necessary, would fail miserably. Naruto blinked several times. That means, if he couldn't fuse with Pa or Ma, he couldn't use Sage Mode in battle. All the time that he spent training up here was for nothing? How would that change my opinion, Naruto asked the Kyuubi, barely restraining his anger? That would just piss me off even more, wouldn't it? Normally yes, but where do you think you get your incredible penchant for growth from, said the Kyuubi, as he opened his eyes, shocking the hell out of Naruto. As the fox looked at him with a smug look on his face. I see you get my point, so know that you have been shut up for the first time in a while. What do you say about you not needing me, the fox asked. After all, who would have expected the fox to learn how to channel Sage Chakra, as Naruto hadn't seen that as a possibility. As the yellow eyes of the Kyuubi with a telltale bar pupil in them, and the orange pigment around his eyes, total Sage Chakra. Okay, I admit, I may have temper the last time, but now that you have this, you know I'm gonna use a Sharingan when we fight, you know that, right? Said Naruto. Meanwhile, a group of sand ninjas had come across the bodies of Fu, Torun, and Kisame, as the insects had died, making the water safe to go into. So what do we do now, sir? A random Chunin asked, after inspecting the bodies, as the Jonin of the sand ninja looked down at the two bodies. Two of the bodies were of the elder Danzo Shimura bodyguards, and the other one was Kisame, but Danzo was nowhere to be found despite the blood over there. Still, people need to be informed about this. Gather the bodies. We're going to be returned to the village at once. We need to tell the Kazekage about this, and he needs to tell Konoha. Time skip. Are you sure that he wasn't having a nightmare or something? Jiraiya asked, after hearing about what Naruto told him with the Kyuubi. Naruto scoffed. I don't have nightmares, Urasenin, and I know different between a dream and my mind. The Kyuubi was not lying. How could the Kyuubi even learn to use it? Asked Jiraiya. I don't know, I learned to use it. You said a massive reservoir of chakra needed to do it, right? Well, the Kyuubi is made up of chakra. It was stuck in my head with nothing to do than watch me train. So it probably got the feeling of neat chakra down too, same as me. And if you're talking about staying still to gather the chakra, all it does is stay still for at least 20 hours a day. So yeah, I'm sure it has much more practice than me. That's not very inspiring to hear, Naruto. So you're telling me that the Kyuubi can use Sage Mode? No, Naruto said, not functionally. If it could have done that, how the hell would I even beat it? It has to stay still. When it moves, it's gonna lose a chakra. But I can just simply take the chakra from it, like how I used to do with his chakra normally. Are you insane, Urasenin? Naruto said. If it could really use Sage Mode, how the hell would I really be in this good mood? If that had happened, there wasn't any reason to keep on trying anymore. Jiraiya thought about fighting the Kyuubi himself, and then fighting the Kyuubi while the Kyuubi was using Sage Mode. I suppose you're right, he said. We're here, said Jiraiya, as he arrived in front of the waterfall. Now show me, how would this work? Kyuubi, you're on, Naruto thought. Don't screw me over here, okay? I can't screw you over, stupid. I'm behind the seal, and you can already control nature chakra, so what the hell can I do? As the Kyuubi then went sad and started gathering nature chakra. Do you feel it, the Kyuubi asked? Yes, and Naruto, as he felt the power going through his system. So, Urasenin, Naruto said, as his eyes changed into Sage Mode. Are you up for it, Naruto asked, as he deactivated his contact lens, showing his Sage Mode warp Sharingan, as Pa and Ma appear on Jiraiya's shoulder. Yeah, said Jiraiya. Let's test this out, shall we? As his features started to change when he took on Sage Mode. Let's see if you can take enough punishment to make it fun. Meanwhile, a whole group of toads are watching. Are you sure this is far enough away? Gamakichi asked his father, sat in his head, as he was still small enough to do. You see, Naruto is kind of, good at messing up landscapes, said Gamakichi. This is fine, said Gamabunta. before a massive burst happened that threw smoke and debris all up to where they were. I think you're right. We should maybe move back a bit. But guys, to be in this episode right here, if what's the next part of this, know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, turn bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.